Hello and welcome to another episode of Cap City Bonsai. So today we are going to be repotting some jades that I have. These are all kept in my house in different windowsills. And they have pretty much all lost percolation, meaning the water is not draining through, the balance of water and oxygen is off, and it's going to start to affect the health of these trees, particularly the largest one in that brown pot. It's lost percolation for 6 months now, and the growth I'm getting on it is really telling me that, I should say the lack of growth, that something's up. So I'm going to be repotting all of these today. Some of these are going to stay in these pots, some of these are going to go in new pots. So yeah, we're going to jump in and go through these one at a time. All right. So we'll begin by repotting this one. I don't think this tree is wired in. Oh yeah, I can feel the roots in there. I've always struggled with this tree. It's always just grown a lot of roots and never really grown a lot of foliage. I'm starting to get some now this year. Wow, look at that. So that is why I have lots of percolation right there. That is a ton of roots, and it's completely engulfed my drainage screen here. So, wow. I'm happy to see that. Last time I repotted this tree, I did not have very many roots at all. I'm not entirely sure what happened here because I still have a lot of frangible or intact pieces of Akadama lava rock in here. So, I don't know. I guess it's just the roots down there are just preventing the water from flowing through. Because as soon as I water this tree, it just pools on the top like standard potting soil would. I also wanted to address the root base on this because they're coming out a little horizontal here, and I'd like to get it at more of an angle. But I am very pleased at how this root system is developing. I wasn't filming when I repotted this last, but man, this is a drastic improvement in the root system here. You'll love to see it. Okay, so I'm not really needing to bare root this tree. It's in good soil, so that's plenty good enough for my purposes. You can see I've got a pretty nice radial root system here, which is great. So there's not too much I need to do to this. I'm going to bring this into balance here by pruning some of these thicker ones that are starting to swirl, or like this one's coming from underneath. I don't even need that root. So that's our next order of business here. Just kind of clean this up a little bit. I'm left-handed, so this is a bit tricky here. We're going to start by just giving these a haircut, these longer roots. Okay, and that's actually the root I want to cut off, so take it high for now. We'll come back and clean that up. Normally, you'd want to wait to do this kind of work on a jade until the summer. It is March 9th today, but as I said, these are indoor plants, and so you're able to repot them any time of the year pretty much. And this one has just started to wake up inside the house and has been putting on some growth. And because I have that loss of percolation, I just figured it's time. So, I mean, we've already got a really nice flat radial root system on this tree, and that's really thanks to the root work that I've done in the past. I think I've repotted this tree 2 or 3 times now. So, and this is grown from a cutting. So now I need to go in here and clean up this root here. I don't want that. It's too thick. Okay. So we're flat, we're radial. I am gonna probably just kind of manually rearrange some of these a little bit. And then it is radial. I'm lacking over here. So that I want to bring some strength into. That should happen naturally by giving it that space there. These though are very strong, these 2 roots here. So I'm going to trim those a little shorter than the rest. And hopefully let some of these other roots in here catch up to the thickness of those. Just like so. So we'll prune these ones a little bit shorter. Leave this other stuff as it was, and hopefully next time I look, this root here, I'll get roots filling in this little portion here where I don't really have much, just have this one root here, and then hopefully these other roots will get stronger. Now I'm also going to take the opportunity to correct this. The radial position is here, right, and that root is following that nicely, but then off of this, these roots are cranked completely horizontal at a 90 degree. So as those thicken up, that's not going to look that great. So I'm just going to really just cut those back like that and fix that problem there. The rest of these are looking good. I don't want to do too much. I think this root here, that's coming more out of my root plane now. I'm just going to kind of pull that down a little bit. There we go. So this is, I'm going to cut this root right here. Why not? There we go. So there we go. That's that tree. And jades are incredibly prolific trees, and they grow generally pretty small compact root systems as it is. I could cut all the roots off of this and stick it back in the soil and it would grow again. So I have zero concerns about this. Yeah, this is a nice little tree. It has some really nice movement to it. You can kind of see that S shape up in there. It's got some taper to it. It's got lots of places to grow branching. It's just starting to thicken up as I'm pruning it. You can see a lot of that subdivision where I've pruned, taken my 1s into 2s and then those into 2s. So it's well on its way. I think after this repot and this summer that we're about to have in this new spot in my new house, it just gets full morning sun all day, bright light. So I'm thinking this is really gonna shoot off and just absolutely take off. So let's get this cleaned up and then potted up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I've got the pot set up. I basically just put a fresh layer of red small lava rock on the bottom to cover the drainage screen. I like to do that because the lava rock is never going to decompose or break down, and so my thought is that it keeps the drainage screen clear. The akadama will slowly break down over time, but the dirt should rinse through the lava rock at the bottom. So that's kind of my thought process. And then honestly, I just reused this same soil that this tree was already in. It was growing very happily in here. It's not that old. It's all still intact. And it's still full of decomposed fertilizer pellets. So I'm just going to stick it back in this thing. I think my front is somewhere right about in here. not going to use this other tie down. I'm just not going to need it. This tree is not going to move. It's indoors, so there's no exposure to the wind. Yeah, I just want to arrange these as radially as possible, and then what I want to do, I think I fucked up. Okay, this is the tricky part. So I'm going to use lava to top this because it's a little bit heavier than the akadama. And this root base is just very horizontal, and I want to get it to kind of come down at an angle like a real tree does. So the way I'm going to achieve that, I'm going to shed a little bit more of this soil here. And I'm going to bury the tree the way that I want it, and then I'm just going to kind of slowly lift up on the tree. This is a trick that I learned from the goat, Nigel Saunders, the root base Nabari King, if you will. So we'll just fill it up, get it buried. That lava will help keep pressure on those roots. Fuck. Fucked up. Okay. And then I'm going to slowly raise it up just a little bit. And I'm going to start packing these down in there. There we go. And now those should be a little bit more of a downward angle. We'll let those dry up. I mean, there's the tree. So, there is one tree. Done. So I'm gonna go give this one a rinse, stick it back inside, and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have this little guy. This is a cutting that I rooted, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. And I've been growing it in this little teeny tiny pot in my windowsill. And I just love it. It's so strange. But the percolation is gone. You can see all the fertilizer built up. I fertilized jades really heavy because they like it. So we're going to get this out and just repot it. Keep it in the same pot. Just give it some fresh soil. Give the roots a little prune. Let's see what we're working with here. Will you just come out for me? It's really stuck in there, honestly. Look at all of that decomposed down there. That looks like potting soil. Wow. Not great. Let's just kind of see what we got in here. Oh yeah. This one needed it bad. Beaut. I'm just going to give this one the tiniest trim. This long one is just asking for it. The rest of these roots are fine. So back in you go. Okay, so I'm going to just put a small layer of lava just to cover that screen up. And then fill it. I'm going to use a mixture of 60-40 Akadama lava. All right. There she is. Repotted and ready to go for another year. So I'm gonna go get this one rinsed and back in the house and we'll get on to the next. So we've got this little guy next, and this is actually one of my favorite ones. I love the pot. And then I've really trying to make a cool, unique root base off of this one, and I'm loving how it's going so far. My plan is obviously to do a cascade with this. Just done some heavy pruning on this actually. So yeah, let's get this guy out of here. This has been growing in here for 2 or 3 years as well. Also cutting. So let's see what we can do. Now there's no screen holding this one in. These cascade ones are always tough. Wow. Beautiful. Sorry. Wow. That is a beautiful little root base for this tree. That's brilliant. These ones are growing a little bit too high. Sorry about that, these ones. So I'm gonna cut them off. Uh-oh. So there we have it. You can kind of see what I'm working with here. It's gonna look really cool as this ages. Love it. I mean, this actually has a really great root system for a little tree like this. That's great. So I'm making such a mess today. I'll reuse the soil. You can clean it out, put it in the oven at 200-300 degrees for like 10-20 minutes and sterilize it and reuse it. Rinse out all the dust and dirt, and you're left with lava rock and whatever akadama is still frangible. Love it. Okay, I need to get a new drainage screen for this pot. So I've got some lava rock in the bottom there. All right. Exquisite. This is gonna, all those little roots will fuse in the long run, and this will just be a beautiful swirly twisty trunk with a beautiful root spread. I'm really excited about this. It's small and it's unassuming right now, but I'm about to get a ton of growth from this season, and this is going to be a really good tree. I'm very, very excited. Plus it's so cute. I love these little tiny ones. These little pots are just fantastic. I believe I got a set of these for like 20 bucks on Amazon. So there's another one done. We'll go get this rinsed out and put in the windowsill. I just put these into full sun after I replant them. Succulents are just crazy. So especially the Dwarf Jade, no worries here at all. So I'll be right back. So this is the next plant that we're going to be taking a look at today. This one's kind of a mess. This is obviously just like a tiny little cutting that I put in here, and last time I repotted it, I did it kind of haphazardly and it got knocked down. And it's just grown like this, which is really not ideal. So I'm going to try something similar to the last one we did, and kind of pull those roots close together. So let's start by getting this out. This is not wired in at all. I'm not really having lots of percolation on this one. The roots are just kind of fucked up because it got knocked over. So I want to just get this straightened out. See, it's so not ideal. So the roots are not bad, honestly. Okay. So there we go. So that's how I want it. So what I'm going to do is just use a little tiny piece of wire here. It's the thinnest gauge that I have. And I'm just going to kind of apply it in just a few places lightly, just to kind of hold those roots together. And I can trim these off pretty quickly here, especially once they start growing. So I think that's pretty good. So I've just put that little piece of wire right there to kind of keep the roots together. So yeah, I'm not going to touch the roots. This is in pure lava rock, so that's probably part of my problem here. So I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and add some more akadama to this mix. And again, this is really just like totally fine soil. This is pure lava rock. And I can see it's covered in decomposed fertilizer, so I don't want to lose that. I'm using the, shout out the Bonsai Supply, they're all-purpose fertilizer pellets. I've found, particularly with jades, they just love that fertilizer. I can absolutely just go crazy with it, just absolutely coat it up, and they just love it. So I want to keep that. Okay. How do I want to plant this? Yeah. So there we have it. You can see the wire I added right there at the base. Next time I repot this, I'll pull it out maybe a 1/2 inch, and those roots will have more or less fused together. So that's it for that. You can see I've already got some nice subdivisions going on this. I've started it early. So another one done. You can see the root base is quite beautiful already. These small ones bring me so much joy. They're so cute. Again, these are all just cuttings. I've not grown dwarf jades before. I can't recommend it enough. They are just incredibly prolific. They're so forgiving. You don't even have to wait till the growth hardens off. You can just prune it. They grow all year, indoor, outdoor. They're just my favorite. Anyways, there's another one done. All right. This one is very special. I put this one over a rock and it just kind of, I don't know, I picture an oak tree or something like that. It's kind of the look I'm going for. I did not plant it horizontal. It kind of got knocked over, but it's actually grown in, get this in focus, there we go. You can see it's on top of a rock here. Oh, it doesn't know what to focus on. This root here is actually growing in a crack in the rock. So it's gripped the rock, it's grown in, and I've lost percolation. So I want to fix it, and I want to fix the angle because I don't want it to be at that kind of angle. Although it's kind of growing on me. Not gonna lie. If I have it planted sideways especially, it looks quite nice. So I might just change the front. I don't know, we'll see. First things first, let's get this puppy out of here. So I'm actually gonna do some scraping here, just get the roots away from the wall of the pot. They like to stick to that. I'm excited to see what we have in here. All right. Wow. Lovely. Okay. So most of the roots have grown on this side. That's probably the side that's been facing the window. This is exactly why you need to rotate your plants. Wow, it just comes right off. Okay. Wow. Talk about an unbalanced root system, huh? These roots are dead. There's actually nothing growing on this side holding it down. And I have this root here that just went sicko mode. So we're gonna just outright remove this big guy because it's just taken over and I don't want that there. So we'll come in here. We'll take a nice clean cut like that. That's a lot of root to take off. It's a big thick root for this size tree, but I mean, look at how many roots we still have left for this tree. So you can see what I mean though, it's totally one-sided. This side of the tree doesn't have any roots. So we'll change that. I am gonna prune these up a little bit more. Just kind of flatten this out a little bit, like that. And then honestly, I don't like this root here. And in fact, there's one coming out more flat underneath it there. So I'll keep that root and this root. This root is coming out radial and then it starts to crank a little down here. But I'm going to just leave these for now until I get something out of this side here, which I should get roots out of this point here. Okay, that's all we're going to do for this tree. Now, you can see here, it forks here, and both of them are pretty ramified. This one forks into two here, which then fork into twos and have some nice, really cool movement up in there. So I want to keep these, but looking at the tree more holistically, if I were to plant it like that, this is a pretty cool line, I think. And I can definitely develop roots out of this point here, this bottom area. And then I could have this be the start of a tree and cut this off. Or I could go more traditional, remove this branch right here, and just plant it like that and go for a more tree silhouette. So I could also leave both branches, but I don't want to do that. I want to kind of make a bold decision here. So well, I can always regrow all that, you know. This has a lot of great compact growth and movement in here. So that's kind of exciting. You can see that like natural line if you kind of follow that main trunk, the zigzag. But again, I can grow that. This was again a cutting, and it's taken me about a year to get to this point. So I prefer the angle. So this will get planted as a cutting. This, by the way, is a Dwarf Jade, and it's the Lilliput variety. So it has extra small foliage. This is my favorite. It has all the beautiful characteristics of the normal Dwarf Jade. The rough bark. I mean, look at this. This is a 1-year-old cutting, and look at the texture I've already got on that bark. I mean, it's so amazing, and that it ramifies so well. Again, you don't have to wait till the growth hardens off. The only pest I really get on these is mealybugs, and I've learned that you can just spray 90% or 70% isopropyl alcohol directly on these. Just soak the whole plant, let it sit for 2 minutes, and just rinse it all off, and it kills all the mealybugs on contact. So I had all of these were infested with mealybugs, and I've been doing the alcohol trick, and now they're all clear of them. So I've also learned you never seal the wounds on these trees. That actually will cause it to get infected. This, by the end of the day, this cut here will have hardened over, and tomorrow when I come and look at it, it'll be like wood. So you just leave that alone. And this is in really great shape now to take off and grow into a new tree. So I'm gonna clean up here and get this thing back in this pot. This rock is really too small. Now I could do something like that. Right, and then it kind of Makes sense why there's no roots right there. I like that actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a little piece of wire here, one of my scraps from earlier, to just hold this in place. There we go. How cool is that? I'm really happy I just made this decision and repositioned this rock. So you can see that root is going to go in that crack there, and then over here these roots are going in this crack here. So it's going to develop quite nicely. Okay, so I wanted something flatter for this, so I found this terracotta saucer and I drilled some holes in the bottom of it, and I'm going to use this. Got this drainage screen here, and I'm going to use these wire scraps from earlier to secure this in place. We'll actually do it like that. Okay. So there we go. Drainage screen is secure. I want to use some wire to tie the tree in. So, more like I really want to tie the rock down. So, that's pretty much the angle I want. But There we go. Oh, it looks so cool. It looks spectacular. I'm very, very pleased. Trying to wedge this root in this little crack here and get it to actually stay. It's proving to be quite tricky. Alright, time to pull the chopstick out. Hey, look at that. You love to see it. Okay. That is another beautiful, beautiful planting done. I think this is one of my favorites from today. Look at that. Look at how it's sitting on the rock. Very pleased. Glad I made the decision to cut. So I'm gonna go put this one inside, rinse her off, and then we've just got one more to do today. Okay, so for this last one, this is just a regular dwarf jade. It's not a Lilliput, and so I want to try and just put this in a bigger pot and let it grow. This one has a very, very nice root base on it. You can see that radial spread on it. A little bit of work to do there, but from the front it looks quite nice. So we're gonna pot this up basically, and just let this puppy grow. So, our drainage screen there. Wow. There's our loss of percolation. You can see how dirty these are. Those roots have broken up that akadama. And yeah, that's what you love to see. It's a lot of fine roots right there. It's not necessarily you want them all on one root, but you know, bonsai is a process. Let's get this fertilizer out of there. Okay, so I can kind of see what we're working with here. We got this really long root coming off of there. Comes off of this root right here. So we're going to cut that off because everything else is kind of in scale. flowing quite radially, except for that. So now that that's off of there, okay, this root here is also coming off the bottom of that. So I'm going to cut that off as well, because that's not flowing radially. So there we go. Okay, I do want those to thicken up, so I'm not going to prune those. So there we go, that's it for that tree. And I'm just going to stick it in this. Alright, and then I'm going to stick this in the greenhouse and just let it go crazy. I'm not going to prune it, and I'm just going to let this go nuts for another year. I want this to get bigger and thicken up. So that is the last of the trees. I'm going to go give this a thorough soak with the hose and stick it in the greenhouse. And yeah, that is another tree done. There's not much to see down there at the root base right now. I kind of covered everything, but I did get a nice radial spread, planted it on a mound, and then I kind of lifted it up a little bit. So I should have a kind of nice like downward, you know, nabari there. So it's on its way. It's radial. It's set up now. It's got a huge amount of space to grow, especially coming from this little confined thing. So I expect this guy to take off. That's again a look at the root we cut off. So it'll be fine though. I have literally just, these plants are insane. You could cut off all the roots and it would survive. So especially this time of year, the greenhouse is getting so hot and so warm and humid in the daytime now. It's got full sun all day. So this thing is just gonna pop. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out with the algorithm. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down there in the comment section for me and I'll get back to you. Yeah, thanks again. Bye.